All right, let's talk about money. Today, we're going to dive into some really powerful and honestly kind of unconventional money lessons from the entrepreneur Iman Gaji. Now, these aren't your typical tips. They're the kind of ideas that really challenge the financial advice a lot of us grew up hearing. So, yeah, let's just jump right in.
So right off the bat, we're hit with this massive idea. The biggest expense in your life will be opportunity cost. So what does that even mean, right? Well, what Gaji's saying here is that the most money you will ever lose, it's not going to be from a bad stock pick or buying something dumb. No, it's from the business you never launched, that side hustle you kept putting off, or that one big chance you were just too afraid to take. That right there, that's the real hidden cost. It's the price you pay for just not acting.
So here's how we're going to break this all down. First, we'll look at the true cost of inaction. Then we'll get into the nitty-gritty of profit and cash. After that, we'll cover the ultimate investment, which is you. Then we'll touch on future-proofing your wealth. And finally, we'll talk about breaking through that mental ceiling that holds so many of us back.
All right, part one, the true cost of inaction. This is all about how waiting around can literally cost you millions. Let's really dig into this, because it's a huge shift in how you think about money. It's realizing your biggest financial mistake isn't making a bad call, it's making no call at all. You know, Gaji is super open about his own experience here. Get this. He made his first million by the time he was 18. 18! But he says one of his biggest regrets, a huge mistake, was not really starting to invest that money until he was 20. Now, you might think, 2 years, what's the big deal? But think about the power of compound interest. The growth he missed out on in those 2 years, that delay, he says, was a multi-million-dollar mistake. It's just a crazy, powerful lesson in the real cost of sitting on the sidelines.
Okay, so if sitting around is so expensive, what are the practical moves you should be making? Well, that brings us right to our next section: profit, cash, and practicality. This is all about how you survive and win in the early stages.
Okay, this one is so important, especially with all the noise you see on social media. 1. Revenue is vanity. 2. Profit is sanity. 3. Cash flow is reality. I mean, think about it. It's so easy to brag about making 7 figures in revenue, right? But that's just for show. It's pure vanity. Gaji's point is, if you're making millions in sales, but you're also spending millions, you're not winning. You're just spinning your wheels. Profit is what actually keeps you sane. And cash in the bank, your cash flow, that is the cold, hard reality that decides whether you're in business tomorrow or not. Period.
And here's a super practical piece of advice that might sting a little. Let someone else take the hit on new cars. I mean, Gaji is so firm on this one. Buy used. We all know that the second a brand new car drives off the lot, its value just tanks. So his question is simple. Why on earth would you choose to just set a pile of your own money on fire? Let somebody else pay for that first massive drop in value.
And he gives this wild but perfect example to prove his point: a McLaren 765 LT. So the original owner paid something like $700,000 for it, brand new. Just 2 years go by, and Gaji buys that exact same car for $300,000. Think about that. The first owner lost over $200,000 a year just for the privilege of owning it first. That is an absolutely staggering amount of money to lose, and it's a loss that's completely avoidable.
Now this one is a trap that gets so many people. Lifestyle creep truly bankrupts more entrepreneurs than failed businesses. It's so tempting, right? You start making more money, so you start spending more money. A bigger apartment, a fancier car, more expensive dinners. But Gaji says this slow lifestyle creep is actually more dangerous than a business completely failing. His own role? He only spends about 10% of the profits he pays himself. That's how he makes sure his wealth is actually growing, not just getting eaten up by a more and more expensive lifestyle.
Okay, so avoiding mistakes is great defense, but you don't win games just by playing defense. This next part is all about going on offense. It's about how to actively grow your wealth by investing in the single most powerful asset you'll ever have, you, the company of one.
The big idea here is to completely change how you see yourself. You're not just a person, you are a company. And your skills, your knowledge, your abilities, those are your products. So if you want your company, that's you, to make more money, what do you have to do? You have to improve the product. It sounds so simple, but it's a really powerful way to think about self-improvement.
So how do you actually invest in you incorporated? Well, Gaji lays out a pretty clear roadmap. First, you've got to get new skills, especially high-value ones. Next, invest in your tools, the software, the gear, whatever it is that makes you better and faster. Third, and this is a big one, pay for mentors. You're basically buying speed and skipping years of trial and error by learning from someone who's already done it. And last, you have to fundamentally shift from being a consumer to being a creator. Think about it. Creators get paid. Consumers are the ones doing the paying. Which side do you want to be on?
All right, so you're investing in yourself. Your income is going up. Now what? The game starts to change. This next part is about protecting that wealth and playing the long game. It's about future-proofing.
And one of the biggest cheat codes for building wealth fast is something called geographical arbitrage. It sounds complicated, but it's not. It just means earning money in a strong currency, like US dollars, but living somewhere where your rent and food are way, way cheaper. The internet makes this possible. Your income stays high, but your costs plummet. It's like putting your ability to save and invest on hyperdrive.
Okay, this next one might be a little tough to hear, especially if it's what your parents told you. But their financial advice, it's probably 30 years out of date. The whole playbook of go to a good college, get a degree, find a safe job for life, that was for a totally different world. Gaji says that he's hired hundreds of people, and not once has he ever asked to see a resume or cared about their college degree. What does he care about? Can you actually do the job? Do you have the skills? That's it. And those skills aren't always what you learn in a classroom.
This is such a critical mindset shift. Comfort is the #1 biggest wealth killer. Seriously, the second you hit an income level and think, you know what? I'm good. This is comfortable. That's the exact moment you stop growing. It's like you're running a marathon, you're doing great, but then you decide you've run far enough and just sit down on the curb. That feeling of comfort is the single biggest enemy of reaching what you're actually capable of.
Let's talk about the myth of passive income. We all love the dream, right? Money just flowing into your bank account while you sleep. But Gaji is here to tell you, it's mostly a fantasy. There's no such thing as truly passive income. Every single income stream takes active work to build. And even after it's built, it needs maintenance. It needs attention. Things break. Markets change. Now, is it more passive than a 9-to-5 job? Sure. But is it ever completely hands-off? Absolutely not.
Okay, and that brings us to our last section. And honestly, this might be the most important one of all. It's not about tactics or strategies, it's about your mind. We're talking about breaking your mental ceiling, the psychological walls we build that stop us from getting wealthy.
This right here shows the two completely different mindsets, and it all boils down to the question you ask yourself. The broke mindset asks, how much does it cost? But the wealthy mindset asks, how much will I lose? See the difference? Gaji says a wealthy person would rather spend $1 million on an asset they can sell for $1 million later than spend 200 grand on a car they can only sell for 130 grand. It's not about the price tag. It's about not losing the money in the first place. The focus is on keeping your capital, not just finding the cheapest option.
And this really brings it all home. You don't get rich by saving money. Listen, saving is important, but you can't coupon your way to being a millionaire. There's a limit to how much you can save. But earning? There is no limit to how much you can earn. The real game isn't about pinching pennies. The real game is about raising your ceiling. It's about smashing through those invisible barriers in your head about what you're worth and what you're capable of earning.
So I don't want to leave you with this question. Remember, you are a company. So what's the one investment you need to make in yourself this week to start raising your own ceiling? Is it a new skill, a piece of software, finding a mentor? Think about it and then go do it.